Astros hosting the Mariners. And for the Astros, it's their third season under manager AT HOU, who joins me now. AJ, let's get right to it. Putting your roster together, not too many surprises, but from rookies to guys with almost 2 decades in the majors, what do you think these guys are capable of?
Well, we have a good team, and I think we have a good chemistry that's starting to develop. The new guys have blended in seamlessly. The guys that are returning are ready to take this organization to a new level.
I know spring training can be long and strenuous, but what do you hope that these guys took from it?
Our enthusiasm. You know, we have a great chemistry, a great personality. I hope we can take that fun that we had in spring training, carry it over into a much better April, get us off to a good start.
What do you hope to see from Dallas Keuchel tonight?
You know, I want him to be his best. You know, he's put a lot of effort into getting himself back right again, commanding the strike zone, throwing strike one, and dictating the contact on the ground will be a big deal.
Thanks so much for the time. Good luck this season.
You got it. Thank you.
All right, that was AJ HOU. Stay right there. First pitch is coming up. You heard him talk about Dallas Keuchel. The ace will be on the mound. Stay right there.
11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
It was a long winter in Houston. Patience was tested. Spirits nearly broken. But now,
winter is over. Welcome back to Minute Maid Park, where springtime begins again.
all that's left between you and Astros baseball are a few final moments of anticipation.
And in those moments, anything can happen.
The seconds before ignition.
5. All 3 engines up and burning.
The moment before contact.
2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
When the ball's in flight, the possibilities are endless. How good are the Houston Astros?
Springer dives.
How great can they become?
Correa gives the Astros the win.
Will the ball land softly in the glove like 1980 and 86? Will today's heroes become legends like the toy cannon?
You talk about a tape measure shot.
Or the killer bee? Will the magic return? Nobody can predict the future.
Or can they?
Today is where the hype ends and the fun begins.
Do you believe this finish?
A season of magical moments waiting to happen.
It's on! Holy Toledo! What a way to finish!
And the only thing left to wait for
Is what happens next.
I'll tell you what happens next. Showtime, baby.
Welcome to the 2017 Astros season.
It's going to be epic.
You heard Brownie right there. Welcome back into Minute Maid Park. That's right, it's opening day. The buzz around this ballpark is pretty intense. It's a great day for baseball. It's a great day for Dallas Keuchel to get things going for these 2017 Astros. Had a really strong spring training. That was important for him, coming off an injury that ended his season early in 2016. He's been working hard since last August to get himself ready for this day. He gave up 5 earned runs over those 4 starts, and AT HOU said, you know, what was important is we just wanted to see an easy delivery for Keuchel in those starts. He watched his reaction every time he went to the dugout to make sure it wasn't really about his readiness, but more about competing and how he's going to attack hitters. That's where he was at when spring training ended, so he is ready to go today to face these Seattle Mariners. And for more on this, I'm going to toss it up to the booth. Jeff Blum, how's it going?
Things are good. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, it's a big start to the season for Dallas Keuchel. He is honored to be out there for the 3rd straight year for these Houston Astros. But you heard Julia talking about some of the mechanical issues that may have led to some of the shoulder issues that Dallas Keuchel had last year, coming off that Cy Young year in 2015. There is a chip on this man's shoulder, and I think that chip belongs there. I think he wants it there, and this is going to be a great year for Dallas Keuchel to lead this rotation with this strong offense behind him.
Keuchel getting ready for his third consecutive opening day start. We have a couple of starters today who really like the opening day spotlight. Keuchel with an ERA in his 2 previous opening day starts of 1.29, and Felix Hernandez making his 10th opening day start as a career ERA on the first game of the season of 1.49. April's a month that last year was not kind to the Houston Astros, as you see what happened 2 years ago en route to their playoff berth. April's very important, Glover, for a big start here.
It is. It's amazing to think that you can go through April, have that 7-17 record, and fall a couple games short. They battled the rest of the way. May was great, especially when Lance McCullers jumped into that rotation and really lit a fire under these guys. But you can see the importance of getting off to a good start. That month in 2015 at 15-7 pretty much catapulted them into that playoff race and contention in that conversation where they want to be. But that man right there is locked in. He's healthy. He did have a very good spring training. Lance McCullers is a guy that's going to come out here in April and make an appearance. We have yet to see him make an appearance in April. I think that bodes well for what AT HOU and this Astros organization want to do this season.
Both of these two teams were in the mix for the postseason going into the last week of play last year. Unfortunately for both, they fell just short. The Astros finishing at 84-78. The Mariners 86-76. But it's a new year, and these two teams are expected to be the leading contenders along with Texas for the American League Western Division. Dallas Keuchel takes the ball for his 3rd straight opening day start, and he is ready to go. Both the Mariners and the Astros getting ready for the start to their season. For the Astros, season number 56. For the M's, their 41st season.
Dallas Keuchel, we talked about it, that 3rd straight start. He is the 3rd left-hander in a row. He's leading, beat out Dave Roberts, who had 2 back-to-back opening day starts for a left-hander. But you can see Dallas Keuchel, his numbers last season, had 1 complete game. He's doing a very good job. But we want to see Dallas Keuchel continue what he was doing in spring. He was doing a great job of locating the fastball early, staying down the count, limiting base runners. But if somebody did get on, Dallas Keuchel went to what he can always fall back on, is getting that ground ball. He's a very good defensive pitcher out there, 3 straight gold gloves, and those ground balls usually lead to the inning-ending double plays.
Ground ball percentage as good as anybody in the game the last 3 years. And here is the opening day lineup for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Gene Segura will lead off. Just acquired in the offseason and a big deal from Arizona, along with Mitch Haniger. He bats second. Robinson Cano had a monster year against the Astros last year. Nelson Cruz, another 40 home run season. Kyle Seager, Danny Valencia, Leonis Martin, Mike Zunino, and Gerard Dyson round out your Seattle lineup.
Only 2 left-handers in that lineup for the Seattle Mariners, but 2 pretty strong ones. Robinson Cano, Leonis Martin.
Both teams with high expectations. Both teams really looking at their offenses as elite in the American League this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's interesting. We'll have a chance to talk about it more throughout the ball game, but I'm kind of curious to see how this outfield plays for the Seattle Mariners. They put a lot of emphasis on cutting down on balls dropping in the outfield, added more speed, but sacrificed a little bit of offense. But we know that their big 3, Cano, Cruz, and Seager, can swing it.
Segura in the box, Dallas Keuchel ready to go, and we are underway for the 2017 season. And the first pitch misses a little low. It's 1-0. Gene Segura coming in off a season where he had over 200 hits, over 100 runs scored, and he was a key acquisition for the Mariners this offseason. Keuchel down low. It's 2-0. Dallas Keuchel getting the ball from A.J. Hinch on opening day for the 3rd consecutive season. A.J. looking for a little closer form to 2015 than we saw at times last year. Check swing. No swings is Laz Diaz. And Keuchel has started out with a 3-0 count.
Dallas Keuchel started the last 2 opening days for the Houston Astros. He has an all-star start under his belt, but a little bit of nerves.
There's a called strike, says the crew chief. Jeff Nelson behind the dish tonight, calling balls and strikes. We saw Diaz, also Doug Eddings and Corey Blazer on this umpiring crew. Just underway on a gorgeous night in Houston for opening day 2017. Chopper foul left side, and now Keuchel's worked the count full. This crowd was an early arriving crowd. I don't mean to tell you, the sight lines in the outfield were filled up by about 4:30 today.
Well, you and I both went on the radio out there at Street Fest too. It was packed. Gorgeous day. The weather couldn't have been better for this game.
On the ground, past Keuchel into center field. Segura with an opening base hit to start the season. He had 203 of them last year, and he picks up his first as a Mariner.
Let's take a look at the Astros defense behind Dallas Keuchel this evening. Around the outfield, Aoki getting the start in left field. Spring and Reddick are going to be mainstays out there in center and right field. Across the infield, Bregman, Correa, Altuve, and Gurriel on the right side. And the new catcher, Brian McCann, behind home plate.
McCann got a lot of extra reps this spring, especially with the guys in the starting five. He caught almost every inning for Dallas Keuchel in West Palm Beach and the surrounding Florida cities. There's a breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1 to Mitch Haniger. Haniger, a new acquisition as well in that same deal, 5-player deal. Taiwan Walker, Ketel Marte going from Seattle to Arizona. Segura saw that move coming. 33 out of 43 last year in the stolen base department.
That was the I know you're there move. That wasn't really the show move.
In the air to right field. Drifting back on it is Josh Reddick. He'll make the play for the first out.
Let's take a look at that last pitch on our MD Anderson strike zone. See the first pitch down. Again, great location. We've seen, even with him falling behind Gene Segura in that count, still you watch where Dallas is missing. If he's missing down, you've got a really good opportunity this evening to see a lot of ground balls. What you don't want to see is him missing arm side and up.
There's Robinson Cano. See what he did last year, not only for the season in 161 games, but also look at what he did against the Astros. What a season he had in those head-to-head matchups. It's called strike, 0-1.
Yeah, nobody likes a bully, but that's how Robinson Cano's been swinging it against the Astros.
Keuchel works from the third base side of the rubber. After a leadoff single, a fly out, now an 0-1 count to Cano. Slow chopper to first. Gurriel will take it himself on the play. Segura moves to second.
See the location on this, ball down. Another really good location. Looked like it maybe a cutter that backed up a little bit. But again, you stay down in the zone, you're going to have some opportunities to get some easy outs. That's one of them. And it's good to see Cano making an easy out.
Doesn't happen often.
But you can plan on him making some adjustments. It's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse between Dallas Keuchel and Robinson Cano.
Saw that last graphic, the runners in scoring position, 2 outs. That's an area Keuchel would like to shore up this season. Pitches away for a ball, 1-0. Nelson Cruz, another 40 home run season. That's 3 in a row. 43 last year, 44 the year before, 40 in his final season with the Baltimore Orioles. Finished second in Major League Baseball with those 43 home runs. Only Mark Trumbo had more. Keuchel deliberate with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs.
I'm okay with that. Mix up the timing on the hitter, Nelson Cruz. So Keuchel go to a high leg kick with the fastball and then slide step on a changeup to mess with the timing.
A little bit in, it's 2-0.
It's a pretty good location.
Not a bad location, but now Cruz is in a good spot at 2-0.
And we've got that new camera angle. You get a great shot of where that inside corner is, where he tries to stand those right-handed hitters up.
Off the end of the bat towards Gurriel. Yuli will take it himself. And Keuchel through the top of the first. George Springer will lead things off as the Astros bat for the first time in 2017. Next. Opening day starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. George Springer makes his third consecutive opening day start, followed by Alex Bregman. Number 6 in a row for Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Carlos Beltran, Josh Reddick, Yuli Gurriel, Brian McCann, and Norichika Aoki.
On the mound for the Seattle Mariners will be Felix Hernandez, or as the Mariners fans like to call him, King Felix, another Cy Young Award winner. He is 154 and 109 in his career, but against the Astros, he is 3-5 with a career 4.31 ERA. He's not had much success here at Minute Maid Park.
Delivers the first pitch down low to George Springer, 1-0. Astros have really gotten to Felix Hernandez his last 3 starts. On the ground, foul, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Felix has really turned into a guy who needs to stay down in the zone also. He's gotten away with being a fly ball pitcher in Safeco Park, but now with the lack of velocity that he doesn't normally have, he's really got to be more effective with location and keeping hitters off balance.
0-2 with an ERA above 8 against Houston in 2016. Felix making his 10th opening day start. This ball is hit well to left field, and on the first batter of the season, George Springer hits a home run, and the Astros quickly on top, 1-0. Eight leadoff home runs last year amongst his 29, and what a way to start 2017.
George Springer announcing the Astros' presence in 2017 with authority. Kind of gives you some chills, doesn't it?
How could it start any better? And Springer, who hit 1 home run this spring to right center field, absolutely demolished that pitch into the Crawford boxes. Now Bregman up the middle, base hit into center field. Alex Bregman on the first pitch he sees from King Felix with a base hit. And the Astros are off to a nice roll to start the season offensively.
Hot start against Felix Hernandez. Doesn't enjoy pitching here. Now you can see why. Like a fastball that just backed up middle in, and you get a good chance to see contact on our Supermo, brought to you by Mattress Firm. That is beautiful.
So here is Jose Altuve. Already the fans are excited. Some of them still getting to their seats on this opening day. And Altuve takes a pitch away, 1-0. Jose awarded not only the Silver Slugger before the game, but also the Rod Carew Award, winning the American League batting title for the 2nd time in 3 years. 338 with 24 home runs. Snap throw to first, and Bregman dives back. You talk about hitters throughout Felix Hernandez's career who have given him fits. That guy right there. Jose Altuve, 13 for 24 lifetime against Felix Hernandez. He's not been retired by King Felix in his last 7 plate appearances.
Good pass on that pitch. He does not get cheated. There's just some guys out there that you are comfortable in the box, whether it be the timing of their motion with your swing, where their release point is, or just their tendencies. You almost know what's coming.
216 hits for Altuve last year, 3rd straight season of 200+ hits. in those 7 plate appearances against Felix. 5 for 5 with 2 walks. His last 7 times against the Mariners right-hander. A home run and a single to start the 2017 offense for Houston. And now a full count with Altuve. Part of the new center field viewing areas out there. Those spots have been in high demand from the beginning of this day.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to tour that. I'm still trying to find a way to get us out there to call a couple games.
There goes Bregman on the 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. The throw gets by Cano into center field. Bregman will stay at second. They'll get credited with the stolen base. Altuve strikes out, and there's 1 away.
Talked about the numbers with King Felix against the Houston Astros, and they have not gotten cheated, whether it's at Safeco or here at Minute Maid Park. We know the Astros have leaned back on him a couple of times. And those 3 starts go back to 2015. Any mistake he's made has been blasted out of his ballpark. 0-3. But that opponent batting average of .444 should not happen against a guy like King Felix. The Astros have his number.
Felix has already given up a run in this first inning, which is unusual for him in an opening day start. An ERA below 1.5 in his previous 9 starts on this first day of the season. Carlos Correa gets his first at bat of 2017.
Believe it or not, Felix had his start here at Minute Maid Park 2015, where he went a third of an inning, giving up 8 earned runs.
Line drive caught by the shortstop Segura. They double off Bregman, and that will do it for Houston in the bottom half of the first. But it started with some fireworks as George Springer led off the bottom of the first with a home run. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Whataburger. Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich has returned, but only for a limited time. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. How about some of those moments on opening day?
Yeah, never gets old.
F-16s in formation.
This guy right here, he was okay.
Biggio to Bagwell. They did it again today as Kyle Seager swings at the first pitch of the second inning and grounds one right to Jose Altuve. And there's 1 out in the second. Both pitchers threw 13 pitches in the first. George Springer becoming just the 2nd Astro to hit a home run to start a season. He led off with a home run 8 times last year, and here he picks game 1 of 162. Terry Poole, the only other Astro to hit a home run to start the year, and he did it twice.
Nice, good pull.
It's not me.
You didn't get it? Terry Poole, good pull.
Oh, sorry.
Stay with me.
I got to go with you there.
Just messing.
Good pool. 0-1 to count to Danny Valencia. What about Keuchel now? First batter, falls behind 3-0. Works through that inning after a leadoff base hit. Now all of a sudden you've got a run to work with.
It'd be great if after the game's over and he gets the W, he goes in and in the interview he says, I was just messing with AJ that first AB.
In the air, deep shortstop Carlos Correa will call off Norioki. And the Astros 22-year-old shortstop puts it away for out number 2.
Look at the location and look at the pitch too, because he came inside. Therefore, the right-handed hitter opened up a little bit, and that was a changeup. You see it at 79 miles an hour, but Dallas Keuchel, when he's going good and he's confident with the changeup, slider, and the ability to locate his sinker where he needs to, he will throw that changeup in any count and get swings like that. But the sequence was fastball in, supposed to be changeup away, but still just the change in velocity is what gets the hitter out in front.
Here's Leonis Martin. 2 outs, bases cleared. Did Keuchel get Nelson Cruz to end the first on a changeup on that 2-0 pitch?
Yes. Pulled the string on him.
That's impressive.
It is impressive because, you know, every hitter in 2-0 count here at Minute Maid Park is looking to launch. Got a big swing on a changeup, but it was well located also in case he was looking for that changeup. Still would have been tough for him to get.
Cued off the end of the bat for a ground out to end the first inning with a runner in scoring position. Now Keuchel ahead 0-2. One pitch away from a very quick second. He's only thrown 6 pitches so far in this inning. In the dirt, it's 1-2. Dallas Keuchel making 26 starts in 2016. Had a season cut short with left shoulder inflammation. And there's a called third strike. Martin doesn't like it. A quick second for Dallas Keuchel. 1-0 Astros heading to the bottom half.
Of the second, Carlos Beltran leads things off, and you can hear the end of it, but applause. A warm welcome for Carlos Beltran, who's playing in that Astros uniform for the first time since not being with the team after that 2004 season, and he made sure to tell the fans, guys, in that Players Tribune article what really went down. It's tough for fans to understand what happens in those situations when players decide to go from one team to the next. He found that important. He wanted to let everybody know that this is home, and he hopes to do good things, and will be all cheers from now on, guys.
All right, Julia, Beltran in his 20th major league season. Broke in 1998. The 39-year-old getting his first at bat of the night, DHing tonight. AJ Hinch said he may try and find a spot for Carlos to play in left field at some point in this series. Coming off a big season last year, 29 home runs, 93 runs batted in, an all-star appearance. And like Jose Altuve, Beltran has good numbers against Felix Hernandez, lifetime 7 for 14, including 4 doubles. Can you believe that 04 postseason? That was
You almost can't.
monumental.
480, 460 through those NLDS, CS.
5 straight postseason games with a home run. This time he takes a called third strike. Let's take a look at what Carlos did last time he was in an Astros uniform.
It was pretty special. 12 games in 2004. Yes, only 12 games, and he hit 435, and that OPS up over 1,500. Why not?
Why not?
8 home runs, driving in 14 RBIs. He scored 21 runs. You can see on the bottom, MLB record for runs and home run in 12 games.
12 games.
That's incredible.
21 runs in 12 games.
He was stealing bags, too. He wasn't a slouch once he got on base.
Here's Josh Reddick with his first at bat as a Houston Astro. Reddick didn't hit a home run in spring training until he arrived here at Minute Maid Park and sent one out deep to right against the Chicago Cubs. .296 last year with the Oakland A's. Down low, it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, you talk about some of the signings, and it's interesting that Josh Reddick is here playing with the Oakland A's. He has experience against a lot of these American League West teams, so not only did he do well against the Astros, they want him in the lineup, but he also has experience against a lot of these pitchers, namely King Felix.
And nobody in this lineup has more ABs, it's not even close, than Reddick versus Felix Hernandez. Reddick has 55 at-bats against Felix. Altuve is the next closest on this Astros roster with 24. As opposed to Altuve and Beltran, Reddick has not had great success against King Felix. 164 in those 55 at-bats. And Felix has struck him out 12 times. 2-2 the count. Felix Hernandez against Josh Reddick. There's a ball into left center field, and Reddick with a base hit. Third hit of the evening for the Astros, and Josh Reddick a 1-out base runner.
Good piece of hitting, 2-strike count. Get that fastball away, just go with it. You can see he was almost leaning out there. Hit that one off the label. Watch how far up the handle it hits. But good job of getting on plane, staying through it.
It's a good point you made about Reddick and the AL West. He admitted he never really got comfortable with the Dodgers after the move at the end of last season.
It's a tough transition. I don't think that discrepancy between American League and National League is as big as it used to be, with all the interleague and with all the trades, all the free agency. So you're starting to see a lot of these guys over and over again. But it was a big jump for him to go from a last place Oakland A's team to a contending team like the Los Angeles Dodgers. But Reddick kind of redeemed himself getting into the playoffs and playing well for the Dodgers in those playoff games.
Reddick on first base, and here's Yuli Gurriel. You see what Yulieski did last year. Really good numbers, righty on righty. Swings through that pitch, 1-1.
He's trying to get on the board with George. This is an aggressive hack. Middle in, turn.
Throw almost gets away. Nice stop over there by Danny Valencia. Rich Dower was bailing out in the first base coach's box.
Yeah, Richie Dower wanted no piece of this. Pretty good effort by Danny.
Foul back to the screen. Counts 1-2. Felix Hernandez getting an opening day start today. We mentioned it's his 10th. He joins the exclusive company, becoming just the 9th pitcher in Major League history to make 10 opening day starts with one franchise. 9 in the history of the game. On the ground toward short. Segura, Cano, and the turn in time to get Gurriel. And the Astros are out here in the second. One hit, nobody left on base. We're through 2. 1-0 Houston.
To Minute Maid Park, where it's time for part 1 of our Chevy Stroh Poll. It's our first one of the year. A question: which Astros newcomer will have the biggest impact this season? Is it Carlos Beltran, going in his 20th year in the majors, knows a thing or two, has veteran presence? Brian McCann, who can get it done at the plate and behind the plate, especially with a lot of young talent the Astros have. Josh Reddick, you've seen him be tough on the Astros in years past. Nice to have him on this side. Or Norchika Aoki, contact hitter who is very consistent. These guys do a lot of different things. Vote in our poll, and we'll tell you which of those wins later in the broadcast. Todd.
All right, Julia. Dallas Keuchel starts the third with a pitch a little bit upstairs to Mike Zunino, 1-0. See Zunino with 12 home runs last year, 50 career home runs with Seattle in 4 seasons. What do you like on the newcomers?
Oh, you're going to make him pick?
Well, we have a line drive. One hop speared by Altuve. Made it look easy.
Can I say Altuve?
You can say Altuve. It wouldn't really fit with a poll, but you can say it.
Great play by Jose Altuve. The shift at work right there. Bullet up the middle. Just another out. Early start for the Gold Glove of Jose Altuve. I'm gonna go with Beltran. Beltran, I love him.
Okay.
I'm you know, the older guys. Got to root for the older veterans.
39-year-old.
Yeah, the viejos in the group.
On the ground to short, Correa. Keuchel with 2 quick outs in this inning.
Get single game tickets for the 2017 season and see incredible games like the opening series against the Mariners and matchups against the Yankees, Red Sox, and Rangers. Visit Astros.com for more info or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Beltran debuted in '98. You debuted in '99.
Yes.
So you guys are kindred spirits on this.
We are.
I'm going to go with Brian McCann. I'm going to go with McCann just because of what he can do with the pitching staff in addition to that offense.
It's a good call.
So your choices, as Julia told you, were Carlos Beltran A, Brian McCann B, Josh Reddick C, Nori Aoki D. 1-0 the count to Gene Segura, back to the top of the order, swinging a foul tip. And it's 1-1. Dallas Keuchel allowed a base hit to Segura to start the game. There's the former Mariner playing against his buddies for the first time. He'll hit second the next inning. Bunt attempt by Segura. Keuchel quickly on it, throws in time. time. Gold Glover 3 years in a row makes quite a play to end the third.
Phenomenal bunt by Segura, but an even better job by Dallas Keuchel, knowing Bregman had no shot. How about the Gold Glover barehanding and throwing a seed to first?
Re-looking at that play by Dallas Keuchel off the bat, this looked like a sure hit.
Really couldn't have rolled it out there any better. Good job off the end of the bat, deadened it. But Dallas Keuchel, as soon as he saw Segura square around, had it in his mind that he was going to make this play. That is not easy. Everything has to go right, and it did. Great pick by Yuli down there, too. Good position to stretch out and make sure he got that pick on the short hop.
Beautiful night here in Houston. Game time temperature was 81 degrees with 36% humidity. Roof open tonight. Could be open for every game of this series as Brian McCann digs in to lead off the bottom half of the third inning.
Weather that good, you know that Julia's going to have a jacket on by the 7th inning, maybe?
What?
Oh, yeah. Get ready. She'll be bundled up by the 7th when it drops down to like 72.
That's her threshold?
True Texan.
0-1 pitch is grounded foul. Brian McCann's first at bat as a Stro. Felix Hernandez ahead 0-2. McCann normally hits in the 4th and 5th spot with Atlanta and the New York Yankees. Not bad offenses. And now he comes to Houston and he hits in the number 8 spot. Upstairs, 1-2.
It's a new age. You go from 4-hole in the Bronx to 8-hole in Houston.
How many years in a row does he have to hit 20 home runs to get out of the 8-hole? He's got 10 seasons, including 9 in a row, of 20 home runs or more. The catchers that have hit 20 home runs or more in 10 seasons include Yogi Berra, Johnny Bench, Mike Piazza, and Brian McCann.
It's a lot of commonality there.
Piazza and Bench have 11. Well, McCann 1 away from the all-time best. Grounded foul. How about the last 2 innings for Dallas Keuchel? An 8-pitch inning followed by a 6-pitch inning. 27 pitches through 3 for Keuchel after a leadoff hit. He's retired the next 9. Swing and a miss. King Felix Hernandez picks up strikeout number 2 on the evening. Here's the former Mariner, Nori Aoki, getting a chance to kind of be a spark plug towards the bottom of this lineup. That's what they're hoping for, at least. He can give you a quality at bat. Year in and year out, he's going to be in the mid-280s with his batting average. He lines one into left field for a base hit. Aoki's first career hit in 5 at-bats against Felix Hernandez.
Tell you what, A.J. Hinch, smart for getting Aoki in there against his old team, because we like to call these revenge at-bats in the league. It was a rough start to the season last year for Aoki in a Seattle Mariners uniform. But right here, taking advantage of the early fastball, going the other way. And he is really that second table setter. Not that George Springer isn't your prototypical table setter, but Aoki's job is to turn this lineup over with him on base. Right there, he did a great job.
It's funny because we mentioned how unusual it is to have a guy like Brian McCann in the 8th spot. And because Springer's not your typical leadoff hitter coming off a 29 home run season, it's almost like Aoki starts the lineup again.
It is very much so. So you're saying Brian McCann's a 9-hole hitter?
I guess in a way I did.
Yeah, we'll have that talk later with Brian.
Springer hit a home run in his first at bat of the season. Takes a pitch away. It's 1-1. He and Terry Poole, the only Astros in history to hit a home run to lead off a season. Only run of this game so far. Man, that's a pretty shot from out in center field. Grass looks so nice. The city skyline. Sun setting behind us. 1-1 pitch is a little bit low. It's 2-1.
The Good job by George laying off that slider. There's the batting eye in center field. That is a new adjustment. Towles Hill is gone, and hitters wanted a new backdrop. There it is.
No more 436.
That's another good thing to see out there when you're looking in dead center field.
409 now. No more Towles Hill. Beautiful H in the middle of the batter's eye. The Astros H, the Houston H. There's a big attempt at first. Time to take a look at the Astros home turf presented by True Green. Take a look at the outfield dimensions. 315 down the line and left. 409 is the new number in center field. 326 to right. 362 in the left field power alley. And 373 in the right field power alley. Oki bluff to go. Broken bat. Slow grounder towards Segura. He has no play at second. No, they're going to say Springer is going to be awarded first base on catcher's interference. It was a broken bat, but it was catcher's interference on Mike Zunino. Was wondering why Springer wasn't hustling down the line, but he knew.
Yeah, that was kind of bizarre because Segura was almost looking to go to second base, and if George is hustling, that's a base hit. But now we know why George got jammed. You're going to take a look. Watch the barrel of the bat hit the glove of the catcher Zunino as he pulls back. He knows instantly he's in trouble. But that's kind of why George was late getting to the baseball. George helping out the cause. No need to go to the replay there because George was right on top of it.
Last time an Astro reached on catcher's interference 2 years ago against the same Seattle Mariners. Jesus Sucre was the catcher then. Chris Carter reached base back in September 2015. So first and second, one out. Alex Bregman the batter. How about the old home run catcher's interference to start a season?
So you keep those numbers perfect.
Goes as an error against Zunino. First error of the season. Bregman singled his first time up, stole a base.
Talking about how dynamic this offense is, there's another good look at it. They could even get on base that way.
Pitches away, 1-1. Aoki on second. Springer on first. One out. Astros lead 1-0. In the air to right field, sending Haniger back to the track, and he makes the play. Tagging is Aoki. He'll get to third. Hit pretty well the opposite way by Bregman for the second out.
Good AB by Alex. May have gotten it a little bit off the end of the bat with the pitch being outside. Good play by Haniger. Taking a peek at that wall because it does come at you pretty quick here at Minute Maid Park. That wasn't exactly a sure-handed catch. Kind of caught off that pinky finger and stuck in the heel.
Wasn't textbook. It worked out. Looking at Jose Altuve digging in with runners on first and third and 2 outs.
Had an A-ball manager, Gomer Hodge, and all he would say is outs is outs. Doesn't matter how you get them or how they look, outs is outs.
Felix Hernandez, previous 3 years before last year, was absolutely lights out with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Look at that, 153 opponents average, 451 OPS. Last year, came back to the pack a little bit.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Altuve, big rip, no contact, nothing in 2.
You can almost see it when Altuve guesses right and gets the pitch he wants because he unloads.
Speaking of runners in scoring position,
man,
what didn't he do last year?
Shave.
Hernandez had nothing in 2. Chop foul at the plate. Felix is up to 44 pitches. We're in the 3rd inning. Dallas Keuchel's through 3 innings with 27 pitches.
I think that's going to be unique with the Houston Astros lineup. With them making more contact and having some tougher ABs, really forcing guys into the zone or pitch around off the edges, you're going to see this lineup really up those pitch counts. And what that means is you can knock that starter out a little bit quicker, get deeper into these bullpens. It'll be interesting to see because this is a 4-game series against the Seattle Mariners. And if they start abusing that bullpen early, that's a good sign for the Astros.
Check with Springer at first. Hernandez has gone back-to-back with a changeup against Altuve. Ahead of the count.
3 consecutive 200-hit seasons for Jose Altuve.
It's not bad, right?
He's almost got as many hits in 3 years as I did my career.
Springer bluffs a go, pitch in the dirt. Altuve swings through it. So a hit and an error, 2 men left on base.
Here in Houston, and it has been vintage Keuchel circa 2015. You can see the pitches down in the zone, and Dallas Keuchel, when he is successful, is down in the zone. George Springer led this ball game off in a big way with a big fly to left field into the Crawford boxes, setting that OPS at a very high mark to start this season.
Springer with 8 leadoff home runs in 2016. And he hits one out as the very first batter for the Astros on opening day 2017.
So far, sign of the year. Right there, out there in the outfield, worked in route into their banner. I like it.
Nicely done. Mitch Haniger leads off for the Mariners here in the 4th inning. Dallas Keuchel coming off an 8-pitch and 6-pitch inning in the 2nd and 3rd. Haniger flied out to right his first time up, chops one foul, 1-1. Keuchel last inning, 3 ground balls. Nobody has had a higher ground ball percentage, especially against left-handers the last 3 years, than Dallas Keuchel. Keeps the ball away here to Haniger. It's 2-1. It'll be Haniger, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz. Just 1 lone hit allowed so far by Keuchel. Breaking ball, 2-2. Keuchel's really keeping Seattle off balance tonight.
Good mix, a lot of confidence. Good camera angles showing everybody at home the good movement that Dallas Keuchel can create when he's going north and south. Pitching downhill towards home plate.
Chop foul. Stays 2-2. Six ground ball out so far tonight for Keuchel. The lone base hit for Seattle was a ground ball through the middle.
The size of that guy's head.
Who?
Orbit.
You look at it. 2-2 the count. And there's a swing and a miss. Dallas Keuchel with his 2nd strikeout.
It's time to play, and it's presented by Toyota. We're going to take a look at a couple of very good second basemen in Jose Altuve and Robinson Cano. They're on the bottom. A couple of numbers we're going to be talking about throughout the year. The last 2 seasons, you see Altuve with a better weighted run created plus number than Robinson Cano. The OPS also much better. We hear a lot about what Robinson does as far as driving the ball out of the ballpark and driving in base runners. But Altuve, with that 24 home run year last year, jumped ahead of Robinson Cano.
You mentioned the 818 hits by Altuve since 2013. Cano's 2nd of all major leaguers since 2013. And he trails Altuve by 67 hits.
Man, that big a difference?
It's a huge gap from Altuve to the next closest in the last 4 seasons.
It's also good if you're trying to make the comparison of what kind of money Altuve is going to get if he keeps up this pace. There's some head-to-head numbers. 346 average, 347. My goodness. Runs, wins. These guys do it all. What I love about Altuve is he brings that running game with him also. With that OPS, even though he doesn't have the home runs, he still makes up for it in doubles, triples, gets out there, wreaks havoc on base pass. And Altuve's been winning those Gold Gloves in the American League with Robinson Cano in the mix.
On the ground past Altuve into right field. An 0-2 pitch for a single for Robbie Cano. Only the second hit allowed by Keuchel. Cano a one-out base run. Here's Nelson Cruz, the hitter. He had a 2-0 count last time against Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel threw him a nasty changeup, resulting in a ground out. Pitch misses inside, 1-0. Keuchel against Seattle, making his 12th start against the Mariners. Has fared well against Seattle, 3.08 ERA. There's a called strike at the knees. It's 2-1. He's been behind twice now on Nelson Cruz, 2-0. That's not the advantage spot you want to be on the mound as a pitcher.
Well, you wonder if that 2-0 count was in the head of Nelson Cruz, maybe sitting on the changeup right there, gets a cutter on the inside. Good job of mixing it up.
Doesn't chase the changeup there. It's now 3-1.
As a hitter facing a guy like Dallas Keuchel, got to see the ball up. If you see it down, you're hitting into where Dallas Keuchel wants you to go.
Fouled back. It's 3-2.
There's that cutter on the inside again.
Really got in on his hands.
Keep him uncomfortable.
Some hitters counts early in this game for Cruz, and Keuchel's made some quality pitches. Now the count's full.
Might be interesting to see if they send Cano. It's tough to run on Dallas Keuchel being left-handed, but if you move Cano in this situation and you get a ground ball, you're hoping to stay out of the double play, because that's what Dallas Keuchel does well, is get those ground balls with a runner on first.
Cano doesn't run that much. We'll see if Scott's service puts him in motion here with a 3-2 count. Misses inside, ball 4. Fans thought that might have been a strike. 2 runners on, 1 out. We'll check in with Julia.
Thank you, Todd. That first walk for Dallas today, but for the most part, we've seen him have good fastball command. Everything's been down, and that's so crucial with Dallas, and that's something he talked about before this season, looking back on that 2016 year that we'll talk about some. Obviously not healthy, and all of that had to do with the command, but very open about it, talking about how the command really hindered him last year, inabilities to be able to throw it where he wanted to. And also, he couldn't even get his changeup over at times. So struggled with several things last year. And he said, command's key. There's times where I'll only throw a fastball. I'll live and die by that. And we've definitely seen that. But when he's on, and good things happen for the Astros, guys.
Looking for a ground ball here against Seager. 0-1. Seager swung at the first pitch his last time up and hit a ground ball right to Jose Altuve. He does that again here. Keuchel could get a double play and get out of the inning. Last 3 years, he's number 2 of those qualified in double play percentage. In the dirt.
Good job by McCann. See the breakdown of the fastball. First is lefties from Dallas Keuchel. The usage dropped down in 2016. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fatigue on the arm that he was having issues with. The velocity was down, but also the location too. He was not comfortable working that pitch off the edges, and he didn't create good depth with the rotational issues he had with the mechanics. And when you get hit around with that pitch, you kind of shy away from it too.
There's a good pitch, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Likes that slider against lefties.
Just dangle that carrot out there, get a swing and miss. Normally you don't see Seager miss the pitch by that much. That was a good break.
You know, last year Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz had such huge offensive seasons that Kyle Seager kind of got lost in the shuffle. Seager hit 30 home runs last year and drove in 99 runs. Led the team with 36 doubles. Just misses the corner. 2-2.
Fans want that pitch, but I guarantee you Dallas Keuchel is throwing that pitch for effect. See if he can get Seager to reach out there a little bit. Good job by McCann trying to bring it back.
There's a cold third strike. Outer half. Strikeout number 3 for Keuchel and a big out getting Seager.
Seeing some good setups from Dallas Keuchel. Wonder if in the head of Seager if he might have been looking for that breaking ball a little bit, but he came back with the fastball that much closer to the plate to get the call. Good pitch.
Keuchel gets the call from Jeff Nelson on a pitch that was borderline away, and now he'll deal with Danny Valencia. Valencia popped up on a changeup his last time up. No matter where he has played, Valencia has always done damage against left-handers. Last year a .924 OPS against left-handed pitching.
Tell you what, he hasn't been shy about hitting against Dallas Keuchel either. 8 for 16.
Including 2 home runs. Away, it's 2-0. Keuchel, after a relatively stress-free second and third, battling through the 4th inning with a couple of runners on and 2 outs. He's up to 49 pitches, 22 in this 4th inning. And he's down to the count, 3-0 on Valencia.
A little more stress on the arm of Dallas Keuchel in this inning, cruising along until the 4th. 23 pitches already.
On the inner half, 3-1.
I wonder if Dallas and McCann aren't thinking about that inside corner a little bit. It seems that Jeff Nelson's going a little bit off the edge on the inside, and they both sense it. Coming right back in there. Nope.
Breaking ball in the dirt, and that'll be a walk to Valencia. Now the bases are loaded. Base hit and a couple of walks.
It's kind of a curious at bat for me because I thought about it with the first couple pitches in that sequence to Danny Valencia with the left-hander Leonis Martin hitting behind him, even with the runner on first and second, and the potential bases loaded situation we see right now with 2 outs. It looked like he might have been pitching around him.
It was almost as if that at bat, as you look at Martin's career against Keuchel, 12 of 27 at bats he has struck out. Almost as if Dallas said, if you're going to beat me in this at bat, you're going to beat me on my pitch. And there's a chopper towards second. It's going to work out. Altuve to Gurriel. Bases loaded, and they're left loaded. 1-0 Astros after 3.5.
For your Houston Astros, the shortstop, number 1, Carlos Correa.
Bottom 4, 1-0 Astros. In 2017, Coca-Cola Astros Buddies membership are on sale now for only $25. Kids up to 12 years old get a voucher for 4 tickets to select Astros games, priority access to Kids Run the Bases, exclusive player autograph sessions, and more. Visit astros.com/buddies to get a Buddies membership for your kid today. Todd.
All right, Julia. We head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, and Carlos Correa will lead things off. How about that? Throw from Indiana.
Been here for 1 day and you get your name on a sign.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's pretty solid. How much did that cost you?
I like that, though. It's Julia in big letters, Blummer in big letters, and oh yeah, we forgot about time.
we're barely hanging on. Guy was running out of ink. He's like, oh yeah, you too.
You too. Pitch away to Carlos Correa, 1-0.
You know how it is.
Glad to be up in the booth. Bill Brown, after 30 seasons of Astros baseball, as the television voice of the Houston Astros. So amazing during this transition. Look forward to Brownie stopping in the booth whenever he wants. I know he's here in attendance tonight. We'll talk with him throughout spring training on this opening day. And thank you very much, Brownie, for making this such a smooth transition. Correa with a count of 1-1. Astros lead at 1-0. In the air, deep to left field, fair or foul. That ball's a home run. 2-0 Astros. Correa with his first of the year.
Get used to that. Future MVP right there, Carlos Correa. I'm calling it. Bold statement, huh?
You originally said top 5. You going?
I'm all in.
You're all in now?
Can't hold back.
Second at bat home run, you're all in?
Well, he's halfway to the home run count that Madison Bumgarner has.
Here's Carlos Beltran. Base is cleared. Called strike. Solo home run by George Springer, and Carlos Correa have the Astros on top of Felix Hernandez. Swing and a miss. Beltran's going to run it out as the pitch gets away from Zunino. And the catcher makes a play for the first out.
Some kind of special happening here in Houston, and it's called Carlos Correa. He's got the #1 on his back. Pretty much makes him a target, but I think the man absolutely enjoys it. And yes, I said man, this kid's only 23 years old, but he can absolutely destroy baseballs. Up onto the train tracks, threatening Union Station out there.
The one train just left Union Station. 449 feet down the left field line. Well, here's the thing about Correa. He had such an amazing first year. And then he comes into last season with all these expectations. And you look at his numbers at the end of the year, 20 home runs, 96 RBIs as a 21-year-old.
That's a sophomore slump.
If you say there's a 21-year-old in Major League Baseball who just hit 20 home runs and drove in 96 runs, you're thinking, what a season. But because the expectations were so high, some people wanted more out of Correa last year. This ball's ripped but foul.
No, it's pretty incredible. He's a unique talent. You kind of notice it as soon as he walks on the field. He is built to be a baseball player, but this is a great job. We see it a lot. And you kind of harken back to when we first saw Carlos Correa. I asked him, when you had that broken foot, I said, what did you do? He goes, I got in the cage. So the guy likes to work. But I go, what did you work on in the cage? He goes, I was having a tough time with the fastball in. So I taught myself how to pull the hands in and keep that ball fair like you just saw right there.
Ground ball right side. Felix covering, and he's limping a little bit after that play is made. Reddick retired on the ground ball to Valencia. Felix looking a little uncomfortable after that play.
That's not something you want to see if you're a Seattle Mariner. He got a late break off the mound. Didn't hit the bag wrong, but it makes you wonder if a hamstring or maybe something a little bit nagging.
Robbie Cano is calling the training staff out.
Wow, this is not good for the Seattle Mariners. They lost him for 7 weeks last year, I believe. Made their season that much tougher, but to lose him on opening day. Even if it grabs at him, you wonder if Scott Service is going to make the decision to pull him out.
Last year, he had a calf strain, put on the disabled list June 1st. Didn't come back till July 20th.
Watch as he breaks off the mound.
Felix worked so hard this offseason, felt like he was in as good a shape as he's been in a number of years.
Could be any number of things. Could be the back, could be hamstring, ankles. Maybe it's that calf that he did have the issues with last year when he reached out to step on first base. And we talk about how infielders have to adjust to using the shift. Sometimes it's the pitchers that have to adjust too. Put some of the first basemen out of position, because it really looked like Danny Valencia had no intention of picking up Felix by going to the bag himself. He immediately looked up and expected Felix Hernandez to be there for the flip.
Felix convincing Scott Service, Mel Stottlemyre, and head athletic trainer Rick Griffin that he's okay. So he'll continue pitching here with 2 outs and the bases cleared. Yuli Gurriel, the batter. Want to continue your point about that home run by Correa. So when you talk to him about getting to that pitch inside, what is the key for a hitter to be able to, as you say, clear the hands and keep that ball fair?
Well, I'm learning a whole new way to talk baseball with Dave Hudgens and how he explains it. But what these guys are trying to do is, Carlos Correa, you could see, brought his hands across his chest, but the knob is coming through first.
Ground ball to the third base side. We'll have a chance to discuss further after this ground out to Kyle Seager. Carlos Correa leaves Minute Maid Park with this bomb nearly 450 feet down the line.
Pitching performance is powered by Kubota. Why wouldn't we want to look back on this Cy Young award-winning season? He was off to such a great start too. Got AL Pitcher of the Month that April, again in May and August. You're looking at the numbers: 20 wins, a 2.48 ERA is where he ended. 15-0 right here at Minute Maid Park. And guys that played with Keuchel, or played against Keuchel too, I should say, have said several times throughout spring training as we got ready for opening day that they know what he can do. They've watched this and they were in awe of what he was able to do when everything was going right for him. But they also didn't want to add any extra pressure to Dallas Keuchel. They just wanted him to be himself, because that is good enough. But guys, I think what's really important for Keuchel here to start the season is getting off to a good start. To find that rhythm, that's something he struggled with last year. It just seemed like he never really found a good groove.
This ball in the air, but hooked foul at the bat of Mike Zunino. You're right, when you look at his home road splits, the 2015 season stands out, but consistently throughout his career, Dallas Keuchel has pitched better at Minute Maid Park.
Which is amazing, because you wouldn't assume the fact with the Crawford boxes being so close in left field. But I think it's a credit to the stuff, but it's also a credit to the mentality to be able to go out there and not fear that. Pitch to your strengths. I think it sends a good message to kids at home that even though you may not have that electric fastball to blow guys away, you can still go out there and pitch and manage the game.
He's had some good changeups today. Good diving action on one hop. Backhanded Correa from deep short on 1 or 2 hops. Gurriel holds on to it for the out.
Good defense. Correa, watch the first step, opens up. You can see the way he kind of dropped back a little bit to get the good hop. You don't want to get the in-between. You want to get the short hop or the long hop. But right there, when you're playing first base, you don't have much of a choice. You play what's given to you.
That second hop really jumped up on it.
It does.
And it was a great play by Gurriel. Played mostly third base last year. This year he'll get his majority of the starts, you would assume, at first base. That was not an easy play on the second bounce that really jumped up on him.
Well, throughout the year, you're going to see some demos that I did with Adam Everett. One of the things he said about Yuli Gurriel is that he has good hands, and there was a good indication of that.
In the air to shallow center field. Springer comes on. Aoki comes in from left. It's Nori Aoki who makes the play for the second out. Stay connected to Astros baseball all season long with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Customize the app for the Astros and get the app's best features all season long by subscribing to At-Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Download MLB.com at-bat today, the #1 app for live Astros baseball. Back to the top of the order we go. Gene Segura batting for the third time. Singled and grounded out. One of only 2 hits for the Mariners in this game. Called strike, 0-1. Keuchel got through a 26-pitch fourth inning. After 27 pitches were all he needed for the first 3. Ahead of Segura, 0-2. McCann and Keuchel are really in sync, and McCann's been framing some pitches.
Pitcher's pitch. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap, but you've got to fight if you're a Seattle Mariner.
Checked his swing. That was a defensive 0-2 swing.
Keeping him off balance, showing good depth. And again, I talked about seeing the ball elevated. Here you see the ball elevated, you try and react, and it's not the pitch that's going to come back to the zone. It keeps riding up. Or I guess I shouldn't say riding up. A lot of people these days would get on me about that, but it's actually stayed on the same plane. Because a baseball,
it's got the
physically
illusion
cannot.
Of riding up. Yeah.
But I tell you what, as a hitter, there's some guys I thought the ball was exploding out of their hand halfway there.
It has less drop on its way home than most. Swing and a miss. Keuchel through 5 innings with 2 hits and no runs allowed. Astros lead 2-0.
Incredible.
I've been in Houston 4 days. I haven't had a ton of time yet, so I will make sure.
What are you doing?
Going to baseball games. Here's
prepping, unpacking, whatever.
Yeah. Turning my life over. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Brian McCann leads things off. McCann, Norioki, George Springer. Couple of solo home runs against Felix Hernandez have the Astros on top. 2-0 grounder to the right side that Danny Valencia handles for the first out. What about Aoki in that number 9 spot for the Astros? And really just year in and year out, this is a guy that puts up basically the same kind of numbers.
He is very consistent. The Astros have had a history of being a swing and miss team. With all the analytics, they were sacrificing the strikeout for the power numbers that we've seen in the history of the Astros here in the last 4 or 5 years. But these guys that they've added have been high contact, good pitch count type guys.
People might be surprised with Josh Reddick's numbers, but Reddick and Aoki.
That's what we're talking about, improved contact. Swing and miss is gradually going down, but you can see with the addition of these guys, when you go from 28th to 4th and something, you've got the right guys in that lineup.
Slicing down the left field line, and a nice backhanded play by Gerard Dyson for the second out. That was not easy. Dyson robbing Aoki.
Jerry Dipoto, the GM for the Seattle Mariners, made some adjustments around the outfield for the Seattle Mariners. He wanted guys who were able to track baseballs down. Gerard Dyson was one of those guys coming over from the Kansas City Royals, a very high-speed type guy. You can see right there why he's over there.
And it makes sense when you play in Safeco Field to have outfielders that can run down baseballs. Leonis Martin in center, Mitch Haniger in right, and Dyson in left. There's Martin, second season with Seattle, former Ranger. George Springer got things rolling for the Astros on the very first at-bat of this season. Hit a 2-1 pitch from Felix Hernandez for a home run.
Now he's got pop, but he also has very good strike zone discipline. I think if you're going to be a high contact type guy, you don't chase. You have a good recognition of where those strikes are going to be. And when you get them, you make contact with them. You don't swing through them trying to get too big. These guys have plenty of pop. They don't need to create it. They just need to get the barrel on the baseball, and good things are going to happen.
Lays off that fastball upstairs, 1-2. Springer still 1 for 1 on the season. He reached last time on an error, but catcher's interference, not an at-bat. So a solo home run and a catcher's interference. Inside, it's 2-2. Hernandez has not had an inning in which he retired all 3 batters. Did face the minimum in the second, but that was because of a double play. Trying to go 1-2-3 here for Scott Service, Mel Stottlemyre, and the Mariners. And he does. Springer chases. That's strikeout number 6 for Felix Hernandez, and we're through 5. Houston 2, Seattle 0. Road ahead in April is presented by Demonstron RV. And here we see the Demonstron RV month of April. 7 of the first 10 games, Blummer, against the Seattle Mariners.
Get tested right out of the chute. If you're going to win your division, you got to beat up on the guys in your division, and the Astros are going to get a real good sense of who the Seattle Mariners are early.
A's on that road trip. Kansas City in town over the weekend, and the Angels in town before the Astros head back on the road. Mitch Haniger leads things off for Seattle. Dallas Keuchel with 64 pitches. Felix Hernandez with 65 through 5 innings. And Haniger is 0 for 2 in his Mariners debut. Both these teams, Seattle and Houston, are similar in that A, you're trying to chase down and take an AL West crown away from the Texas Rangers. B, they have really potent offenses. And here's a ground ball to the left side. Correa. And there's one out here in the 6th. And if there's any question mark for either side, and it sounds strange with King Felix and Iwakuma in the top 2 in your rotation, but it might be pitching for Seattle. And the Astros know that if their guys stay healthy, they can get to the postseason. But that's the key for A.J. Hinch and his group. So the offenses for both sides really should put up some big numbers, you would think.
Yeah, they're going to pick them up every once in a while, but you need that rotation to shut guys down, because the offense, if they face good pitching can beat good hitting. But if you get 30 to 35 starts out of a healthy Dallas Keuchel, and the same thing out of a Lance McCullers, Charlie Morton stays healthy throughout the course of the season. With what we've seen in spring training from Charlie Morton, Colin McHugh gets back in the mix. Musgrove is getting his feet under him in his big league career. Good things can happen for these Houston Astros. But I agree with you. All 30 clubs can go out there and say, if we're healthy, we're going to be good. But it really bodes for the Astros to do good this season. Keep these guys healthy and keep them deep in games.
Keuchel has been very good tonight, keeping the ball down, producing a number of ground outs, 9 in all of the 16 outs. And he gets Cano, sending one high in the air. Correa out, and Carlos makes the play for out number 2.
Tell you what, Springer making Correa work for that one.
How about that?
Man. But it might be a credit to how they play against Robinson Cano. Play a little bit deeper in center field, recognizing the strength of Cano to drive it, but it's a luxury having that guy being able to range out to center field to make the play.
Here's Nelson Cruz, 2 outs, bases cleared. This is the part of the order where Dallas had his 1 inning in the 4th where he struggled a bit. 26 pitches, had the bases loaded before he retired Leonis Martin. Seattle has always been a pitching team in the past, but last year they turned things around offensively, led by that guy with those 43 home runs. Robinson Cano with 39 home runs. Seager with 30 home runs. They scored 112 more runs last year than they did the year before. That ball's ripped to center field, sending Springer back. George makes the play in front of the track. Hardest hit ball of the night for the Mariners. And it's still 2-0 Astros. Heading to the bottom of the 6th. Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa. The first 3 due up.
Top of the 6th inning ended with a laser beam off the bat of Nelson Cruz. Great shot of what George Springer can do in center field. You can see the great footwork, turned the hips, kept his eye on the ball the whole way, saw it into the glove. Great play, but a great outfielder also in George Springer, playing a lot of right field in his career, moving back to that natural center field, gets it done.
A ball hit that hard can also have a little knuckleball effect when it goes to straightaway center field. Keuchel knows that ball was smoked off the bat.
And again, center field is one of the places here at Minute Maid Park where you can go ahead and let that guy hit it. Even at 409, if you're going to miss with the pitch and have him hammer it to center field. Number 1, you got plenty of room out there. Number 2, you got George Springer.
Alex Bregman leads off the inning. Fouls went away.
But that ball, in order to get a good jump, you have to be a good outfielder. But that ball it just jumped off the bat of Nelson Cruz at 113.
What?
Miles an hour.
113.
113 miles an hour on a line into George Springer's glove.
Nelson Cruz brings the boomstick, and he hit that ball as hard as you can hit it. Fortunately, it didn't have the elevation. If that ball's elevated, it's a 2-1 game.
Well, last year he led in average exit velocity, 96.2 miles an hour. He averaged. It's pretty impressive stuff. Giancarlo Stanton right behind him.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he's ahead of Giancarlo Stanton, then that's a pretty impressive number.
Well, that's just saying, I mean, basically what it means is if these guys get the barrel to it, it's exploding.
New pitcher here in the 6th inning for the Mariners is Nick Vincent as he faces Alex Bregman with a 1-2 count. Bregman 1 for 2, flied out deep to right field his last time. Single to steal his first time up. Here's Vincent.
Quite a few appearances out of that Seattle Mariners bullpen last year. Record even.
30-year-old right-hander has always been tough on right-hand hitters in the past. Last year, though, he was a little bit closer to a neutral, righty or lefty. We'll have a tough task in this inning facing Bregman, Altuve, and Correa. You know, this is the spot in the order where opposing managers are probably going to go to their reliever who's really tough on righties, but I don't think A.J. Hinch minds when he has some of those names. Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa. Up high, good battle here for Alex. It's 2-2. Alex, well documented last year, 2 for 38 to start his major league career. Finished up the last 39 games with 8 home runs and 34 RBIs and a .313 batting average. Well, he's a guy that didn't get a ton of at-bats this spring due to the World Baseball Classic, only 4 ABs in the WBC. But he's put together really good at-bats tonight. He doesn't look like he has suffered at all from the lack of use in spring training.
No, he had a 1 for 32 to start out his rookie season and really continued to do what he's doing, what you're seeing right now. These at-bats were good. He was fouling pitches all off. When he put the ball in play, yes, they were outs, but he was hitting it hard. Has a very good idea of what he's doing in the strike zone, but he is a smart hitter. He's disciplined, and he doesn't have much movement in that swing, which allows him to keep that head still and recognize pitches early.
Vincent wanted that slider. It was just off the plate. Vincent is a heavy usage of slider, more so than his fastball. There's a fastball fouled away.
Well, and you can see in this AB, it looks like Alex Bregman is late on 90 miles an hour, but it's to Todd's point that you are going to see a majority of sliders from Vincent. Right around 55% of his pitches are going to be the slider.
We're up to double digits now in the pitch count for Vincent against Alex Bregman. Scott Service lifts his starter Felix Hernandez after 5 innings and 65 pitches. You've got to think that play at first base was a factor in that decision.
Well, I completely agree. It's too early in the season. You don't want to have something like that escalate whatever the injury is. Hopefully it's nothing major.
Felix 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs allowed, did not walk a batter, struck out 6, had a play at first base where he was limping afterwards, was checked out and stayed in the game. 3-2 away. What a plate appearance by Alex Bregman to draw the walk on an 11-pitch plate appearance.
The Astros take on the Kansas City Royals this Saturday the 8th, and 10,000 fans will receive a Jose Altuve Handshake Series bobblehead presented by Houston Methodist. This bobblehead is part 1 of the 2-piece set featuring Altuve and Carlos Correa. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve sends one into left center field on a line base hit in front of Dyson. Bregman stumbles a little bit around second, but he'll get to third. First and third, nobody out.
Little fellow was happy to see King Felix get out of this game. He jumped on that first pitch from Nick Vincent. A little bit off the end of the bat, got quick, but still falls for a base hit. Sometimes that's all you need. Even as good as Altuve is to see that ball land in some fresh open grass. It was a great job by Bregman extending this play. I was a little shocked to see Segura cut that ball off. There might have been an opportunity with Bregman stumbling around second base at third base.
So Altuve's first hit of 2017. I get the feeling we'll see a few more.
Yeah,
first and third. Nobody out. Carlos Correa with a solo home run his last time up. Chance at another RBI or two or three. Pitch away for ball one, 1-0. Correa did something you really liked last at bat. You talked about pulling his hands in on a pitch inside.
Yeah, that means he's really driving the knob of the baseball at the pitcher. And what I was going to talk about as far as the language of being a hitter these days is it's called a little bit of lag. It means the barrel just comes behind the hands a little bit, stays through the zone a little bit longer, but he got to that launch angle, and that's when you really saw. Watch in the replay here. Watch the knob of the bat go towards the camera, and then the barrel lags right behind it until he recognizes and decides to unload on it. And that's when the top hand creates the force going through the baseball. And that is an absolutely picturesque swing.
2-0 the count. Good hitters count here for Carlos. Away, it's 3-0. Carlos Beltran on deck. Nick Vincent has come on and allowed a walk and a single. Alex Bregman really set the tone for this inning with an 11-pitch walk. Pitch sent into center field, deep enough to score the run. Correa with a sacrifice fly as Bregman scores. Astros lead it 3-0.
Team baseball. We want to see the fundamentals. Yes, they have the ability to go out there and hammer the ball out of the ballpark and make things happen. But right there, you just saw a guy in a 3-0 count not try to do too much, stay up the middle of the field, recognize a runner on third base, less than 2 outs, and a fly ball will score him. That was very nicely done by the Houston Astros, and credit Alex Bregman for going the extra 90 feet first to third to get himself into that position.
There's an example of a righty coming in who has been tough in his career on right-hand hitters. Bregman, Altuve, Correa. They score a run, still a runner on first with 1 out. Beltran fouls one away.
Talk about adjustments. And Carlos Beltran, a guy who's adjusted throughout his career. That's why he's playing at almost age 40. 2 punch-outs in that first AB. Let that pitch get deep. Fouled her off the other way. When you see hitters struggle, that's what they'll tell themselves. Let that ball travel a little bit more. With Carlos Beltran out there, we're going to take a look at our Ford spray chart. And home runs left-handed by Carlos Beltran last year in 2016. Center field, you saw 1, but a lot of those 18 from right center to right field. He likes to pull the ball. That's where a majority of his power is, but you got to remember he was at Yankee Stadium where there was a short porch and right.
Kind of a late swing there. It's 1-2. The easiest stadiums to hit home runs to right field by far. Yankee Stadium, not even close.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Those left-handed hitters, they enjoyed hitting it. Brian McCann's another guy that took advantage of that, ex-Yankee. But how about 2 of those ballparks being in the American League East? It's like a fun division to pitch in for the right-handed.
Carlos looks good again in that Astros uniform. Appearing in his 20th major league season. Remarkable. 1-2 pitch popped up. Shallow center. In comes Martin. He will call off Cano, or actually call off Segura, who was on the middle of the infield in the shift. And there's 2 outs. So 2 outs, a runner on first, and Josh Reddick is due up, but Scott Service is going to go to the bullpen. They had James Pazos warming earlier, and he's going to come in lefty on lefty to face Reddick. So the Astros lead at 3-0. Carlos Correa with a couple of RBIs in this game. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back.
Astros. Cheer on the Astros in the loudest, most energetic park at the ballpark. For every Friday night home game, the Stro Zone. Sit in the Stro Zone and get a unique t-shirt along with a custom H-Town foam hand. Visit astros.com/StroZone now to purchase your tickets. Josh Reddick up to bat here, who is getting used to his new home, his new city. A 4-year contract is what he signed with the Astros, so he can settle in. He's one of those players that it's rare for some players in this game to be able to know that you're going to play for one team for a while and be able to find a home and find the places that you like to hang out. For him, he was looking for the Dave & Buster's and Arby's, guys. So if you're trying to run into Josh Reddick, try those two places first. He loves Dave & Buster's.
I like that.
Yeah.
He's going to bring a loose attitude to the clubhouse.
Right. He's just a big kid. He'll tell you that.
Aren't we all?
James Pazos is the new pitcher, and Reddick grounds one foul. He was really jealous, Julia, of Rob Gronkowski, because he got in a little wrestling over the weekend.
Right. Oh, yeah. His Twitter will light up if there's any kind of wrestling action. WWF, WWE, I'm learning.
Yeah, we need to figure out if he got written into his contract that they'll let him go compete.
He wants to.
He would.
Goodness.
I guarantee he would.
I'm going to say no.
Ground ball right side. Segura in the shift will make the play to first, and Pazos retires the lefty he faces. We're through 6. It's 3-0 Houston.
Started off with some serious fireworks off the bat of George Springer, leading off this game with a solo blast to get the season started for the Astros offense. He was backed up later on by Carlos Correa. Welcome to the Crush Dome, he says. Put up some numbers for a lefty, didn't he?
He did. Dallas Keuchel impressive. He has been a solid opening day starter, coming in with a 1.29 ERA in his previous 2 opening day starts. Tonight, 6 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball so far. You can see he's mixed in some sliders and changeups. He's really thrown some good changeups to keep Seattle off balance. In addition to the 2 hits, he has allowed 2 walks. They both came in the 4th inning. And even though they weren't technically pitch arounds, he was being selective with what he threw both Nelson Cruz and Danny Valencia. That pitch hits Kyle Seager. Fastball that came up and in on the Seattle third baseman, so he is a leadoff base runner here in the 7th.
No, I agree with you. There were situations where he didn't want to let Danny Valencia do some damage. As you see this pitch get away from Dallas Keuchel. And that's all that really was. No intention behind that. But that gives you a good idea of how Dallas feels about his stuff. He's confident. Might be enjoying the game as much as they are.
Astros fans throughout this stadium. Opening day sellout once again. We have seen fans just 3 to 5 deep throughout the outfield's viewing areas. The center field area is becoming the place to be here at Minute Maid Park.
Well, it's good to see that everybody got the memo, huh? I mean, the standing room on the staircases is what gets me. They're just finding a way to get a view from there.
I mean, people are not leaving their spots. People got there literally 3 hours, 3.5 hours before the game to save their spots to watch the game from center field. That's going to be a very popular area all season long, and when it's a sellout, get here early. Chop foul to plate by Valencia, 1-2. Keuchel up to 78 pitches. He has had 3 innings of single-digit pitch counts. The second was an 8-pitch inning. The third was a 6-pitch inning, and the last inning was a 9-pitch inning. Houston on the board with solo home runs by George Springer, first batter of the game for Houston this year. Carlos Correa has the other 2 RBIs, home run and sac fly. Stays 1-2.
Still showing great location, too. Able to stay on that inside corner in a 2-strike count.
Keuchel and McCann really seem to be locked in today.
I agree. Working well together. McCann picked up on what was working really well for Dallas Keuchel, but he also picked up on the fact that Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire, was given the inside edge.
Good block by McCann. Count evens up 2-2.
Talked about Dallas Keuchel really being a guy who likes to go deep in ball games. Great block, keeping that ball in front. controlling that 90 feet that A.J. Hinch talks about. Keuchel wants to rack up innings. He wants to throw 200 plus. He feels that he is that type of guy that he can contribute to his ball club by going that deep. But early on here in April, everybody's fresh out of spring training, but A.J. Hinch also has a rare bullpen where he has 3 legitimate closers in the back end of that bullpen that he can use.
And to be honest, without putting too much pressure on the lefty Keuchel, A.J. Hinch would really like to see 200 innings because he's the only guy that's thrown 200 innings in this staff.
Yep.
And if you want to play meaningful baseball into October, you need your ace to suck up starts every 5 days and pick up those 200-plus inning seasons. Keuchel pitching into the 7th here in his first start of the year. Seager hit by a pitch to start this inning. Keuchel's allowed 5 base runners now. 2 singles, 2 walks, and a hit batter. Another pitch in the dirt. Now it's 3-2. Well, when you have a Will Harris, a Luke Gregerson, a Ken Giles, oh, by the way, the pitcher of the year last year, Chris Davinsky, towards the back end of your game, now all of a sudden you condense that game down.
And you know where that started was the Kansas City Royals. They had that deep bullpen, those playoff runs they were putting together. But it's a good way to protect your starting rotation if you need to a little bit early on in the season. The key is not to try and wear those guys out. That's the tough part because they are so good. You want to throw them in every game. But A.J. Hinch is going to do a good job of managing the time that he uses those guys. We hear him talk about matchups, high leverage situations. When can those guys come in, limit their outings, but still be effective?
Back to Keuchel. Altuve won. Low throw. Gurriel, another great scoop at first. A big double play turn by Keuchel.
That's what he does. When things are going good for Dallas, he gets the ball on the ground. Tough right-handed hitter in Danny Valencia, pounding the bottom part of the zone, gets him to maybe reach down a little bit. Chopper right back to the Gold Glover, to the second Gold Glover. And the way Yuli's going this game, he may be getting some consideration later on the season. Great job of picking that.
We saw Gurriel all spring, and he never played first as well as he's playing it tonight. He is just outstanding over there.
He is.
That hop he took on the Correa throw from deep in the hole that bounced up on the second hop was as impressive as we've seen tonight, and that was not easy either on that throw on one hop by Altuve. Here's Martin trying to bunt. Keuchel's already had one of these plays. Bare hand. Yes, he did. Gold Glove number 4 if you keep making plays like that. Keuchel bare hands to get the speedy Martin.
We're going to take a look at this, but right now I think even Dallas Keuchel is in awe of what just happened right there. That ball was in midair as he barehanded it with his back to first base and spins and throws. Alex Bregman is in. He might have had an opportunity, but Dallas took this himself. Going away from first base, he makes that play.
We are staying right here after that phenomenal play to end the inning, turned in by Dallas Keuchel. Time for God Bless America at Minute Maid Park with Clay Walker.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet. God bless America, my home.
Mariners as we move to the bottom of the 7th. And we promised you the winner of the Chevy Stroh poll. Here it is. We asked you which Astros newcomer will have the biggest impact. You said Carlos Beltran with 42% of the votes. Josh Reddick coming in second. Brian McCann and Aoki were your other options. Maybe it was someone else that you voted for too. We like those, but make sure you go to @RootSportsSW. Follow us. We'll have questions for you throughout the season. Todd.
Do you normally vote on those, Julia? Because I didn't include you on this one.
Do I know the answers?
No, do you normally vote on those?
Oh, do I vote? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Next
Yeah.
time I'll include you. I apologize. Yuli Gurriel leads off bottom of the 7th. Grounds one towards the left of Robinson Cano. He spins and makes the play for the first out. How about this play, Blummer? Really?
Seriously, we know the guy's good. We know the guy has 3 gold gloves going for a 4th, but the ability to jump off the mound, and you hear me ragging on pitchers all the time for being not so athletic. Dallas Keuchel's trying to change my mind because that was incredible. He is falling away from first base and still has enough on the throw to get it there in the air for the out. That was an unbelievable play.
I've got to think that both Leonis Martin and earlier in the game, Gene Segura felt like as soon as that ball was down on the ground, they had easy base hits. There are not many pitchers in the game, maybe none on that last play, that throw those guys out, especially from a left-hander who has to spin away, pivot, and still make an off-balance throw.
But I failed to point out that he barehanded that on the hop. It wasn't settled on the ground. He reached and plucked that out of midair.
Well, A.J. Hinch preaching protect 90, and his defense tonight has been stellar. Yuli Gurriel at first, and his pitcher, Dallas Keuchel, showing why he has won 3 consecutive gold gloves. He's off to quite a start. He's the leader in the clubhouse right now. There cannot be another pitcher who has made a better play or 2 than Keuchel tonight. Pitch is on the inner half for a called strike.
Just enjoy this and appreciate the athleticism it takes for him to make a good pitch. You talk about destroying egos. Leonis Martin thought he had a hit.
Kind of shortened his stride there going to the bag, thinking he was easily going to be safe. And Keuchel somehow got that ball to first to beat him by less than a half a step. Thanks Pazos in his first full inning of work came on to record the final out of the last inning. 2-1 count to Brian McCann. Now it's 2-2. Pazos acquired from the New York Yankees in a November deal. Left-hander, sinker, slider. On the ground right side, Valencia needs help from his pitcher covering and gets it for out number 2. Every Wednesday night at home, $1 hot dog night. Enjoy the Astros while devouring all the dollar dogs you can eat. For more info, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. 2 nights away from our first dollar hot dog Wednesday.
Are you going to be devouring a delicious dog?
At some point, we have to work into it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great food choices here.
Still got my spring training body.
We didn't.
It'll go away in a hurry on a Wednesday.
We didn't train all month in Florida to get just throw it out the window for dollar dog night. But we'll partake for sure at some point. Nori Aoki is the hitter. 1 for 2. Nice play to retire him by Gerard Dyson last time. You're going to see teams really shade Aoki to the left field side. And especially the Seattle team knows Nori as well as anybody, having played for them in 2016. You can see how far over Dyson is in left, and Leonis Martin basically in left center field. On the ground, shortstop Segura. And a nice 1-2-3 inning. Pazos has retired all 4 he has faced. We are through 7. Astros lead it 3-0. Nothing Astros through 7. Felix Hernandez lasted 5 innings. Mariners with only 2 hits in this game, both singles against Dallas Keuchel. George Springer led off the Astros bottom of the 1st with a home run, and Carlos Correa with a 449-foot blast, also a sacrifice fly. That's where we stand. Dallas Keuchel's night is over. Defensive changes for the Astros.
You're going to see Luke Gregerson on the mound. Marisnick is going to move into center field, moving George Springer to right and Josh Reddick to left field. This is what A.J. Hinch was talking about in spring training, is getting a more potent outfield with a lot more range out there, and he's done it here with the lead 3-0 as Gregerson comes in. Had a great season last year with 15 saves.
So Gregerson, who had a phenomenal spring and World Baseball Classic, takes over for Dallas Keuchel, and what a night it was for Keuchel in his third straight opening day. First pitch from Gregerson, chopped towards third. Bregman cuts it off. A little high throw, but one away.
Dallas Keuchel on the mound. You've got to be on your toes if you're a defensive player. Right here, Altuve, Johnny on the spot with a shift, takes care of that bullet. Bregman knew he had no chance right there, but that's when Gold Glover Dallas Keuchel picked it up, made the great play going away, and again, solid defense behind Dallas Keuchel. You anticipate the ground ball as a defender, but right here, Nelson Cruz, 113 miles an hour off the bat. George Springer up the play, but that's the one right there for me. Dallas Keuchel turning that double play.
Unbelievable defense from the Astros starter tonight. Robbing this guy at the plate, Gene Segura, and also Leonis Martin. They could not have made better bunts, and both were retired by the Gold Glove pitcher Dallas Keuchel. One strike on Dyson. Segura's on deck. Dyson chops one foul. Luke Gregerson comes on in the 8th inning, facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Luke had as good a spring as you can have. He pitched 4 innings in spring training. He pitched 4 innings in the World Baseball Classic, and he allowed a total of 2 base runners, a single and a walk in 8 innings of action. Dyson tries to hold up, but he goes around. 3-pitch strikeout. Gregerson getting Dyson, and Luke picking up where he left off this spring. 2 quick outs.
It's a nasty slider from Gregerson. He can basically tell you that that pitch is coming, and you're still going to have issues. Does such a good job of creating tilt and having late break on that slider.
Gregerson and Ken Giles as good as anybody in the league with that slider. Here's Segura. Mentioned Rob his second time. 1 for 3 in the game. Pitch away. How about the night by Keuchel, though? Just setting the tone after a leadoff base runner retired the next 10 that he faced. Had a little trouble, had to work through a 4th inning where the bases were loaded, but that was it. He was spot on tonight working with Brian McCann. Chopper over the head of Bregman. Correa will have no chance against Segura. And a little infield hit for the Mariners shortstop with 2 outs here in the 8th. Segura with 2 of the 3 hits tonight for Seattle.
And at least today that trade's looking good. For
the trade is looking
Mariners.
good. Yeah. Well, Haniger's the other guy that was involved in this trade with Arizona. And in a game that's currently 3-0 in the 8th inning, this becomes a relatively significant batter here after the infield hit. Because if Haniger gets on, Cano and Cruz follow with a 3-run lead. Called strike, 0-1. All 3 Mariners hits have been singles. They've all been on the ground. Hardest hit ball of the night in the Seattle lineup was a Nelson Cruz line drive to center field. Off the bat at 113 miles an hour. 0-1 pitch away. It's 1-1. But there was not much hard contact tonight against the starter Dallas Keuchel.
Talk about pitchers being able to locate their fastballs on both sides of the plate, up, down in the zone. It's almost what Gregerson does with that slider.
There's a good one. Haniger misses. 1-2.
Initially out of his hand, it looks like it's going to be a strike. This is a good look at it. You can see a little bit further up in the zone and closer to the hitter. But as he starts his swing is when that ball starts to break away from that bat. And once you put your mind to a swing plan and you commit to it, That's when the ball breaks away.
Luke likes the 1-2 slider too against right-hand hitters. We'll see if Haniger gets another one. This is a pitch that misses low, a two-seam fastball. We showed him the fastball out of the zone. Haniger played in his rookie season last year with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He has never faced Luke before. There's that slider. Good job laying off, and now the count's full, which means Segura with 2 outs will get a head start off first.
Talked about some thumpers coming up behind Haniger. He's got some serious protection in Robinson Cano, and then after that, Nelson Cruz. But everything that Luke Gregerson has been through in the WBC has prepared him for moments like this and expectations put on him.
Pretty big pitch coming up here, 3-2. In on the hands, foul. They obviously think a lot of this kid Haniger as you look at Cruz waiting 2 batters away because he hit in a very important spot in the Seattle lineup.
The 2-hole has been argued to be the best spot to hit in a major league batting order due to some of the analytics. More opportunities with guys on base and more opportunities to hit in a ball game because you're at the top third of the lineup.
3-2 is inside, ball 4. That puts 2 runners on with 2 outs here in the 8th. And Robinson Cano, who was an Astro killer last year, strides to the plate. Turns out to be a nice plate appearance by Haniger to keep this inning alive.
Baseball's fun, isn't it?
Oh, just when you think things are feeling pretty good on opening day, look at those numbers against Gregerson for Cano. That home run was his last at bat against Luke last season. One of his 9 home runs he hit against the Astros in 2016 in 77 at bats. Foul at the plate. Caught a piece of McCann. Brian goes down to a knee.
And baseball is such a fun game that Brian McCann decided to become a catcher. Get back there in the line of fire consistently. I don't know how these guys do it. And watching as much baseball as I have over the years, it just does not look like fun. I mean, I'm firmly convinced of that fact.
It's tough for a catcher to continue to put up big numbers like he has because you do take such a beating.
It's unbelievable. I mean, he was 100% until that right there.
And he won't be the rest of the year.
The rest of the year. You're exactly right. But that's how he plays. That's all they know.
This crowd, which has been revved up all night, a little pensive right now with Cano at the plate, representing the tying run. Doesn't chase there. It's 1-1. Two-out infield hit by Segura, followed by a walk to Haniger. Luke Gregerson trying to work through the 8th. Pitch gets away. Both runners advance.
You talked about Brian McCann working well with Dallas Keuchel, and then you mentioned just recently the numbers that Luke Gregerson put up in spring training. Not many innings to be able to work with Luke Gregerson was Brian McCann able to do. I wonder if that might have a little bit to do with him not going down to block that ball, so to speak, in a situation where you're trying to keep those guys from gaining 90 feet.
Low in the dirt, 3-1.
Saw the barrel come forward on Robinson Cano, but not enough to get the call.
Runners on second and third. Gregerson has had much more success in his career against Nelson Cruz than he has Robinson Cano. Cano represents the tying run. And the count's 3-1. Ripped to right field. Springer goes back and makes the play for the final out of the eighth. Well struck by Cano, but George Springer makes the play, and it's still a 3-0 Houston lead. Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Beautiful Monday night to start the 2017 season for the Houston Astros. Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve celebrate after Correa's first home run of the year. Carlos has added a sacrifice fly. And the Astros lead 3-0 as we head to the bottom half of the eighth inning. A collective sigh of relief after Robinson Cano was retired on a 3-1 pitch to end the top half.
Said it earlier in the game, outs is outs. That was a seed off the bat of Robinson Cano. Really the only pitch he saw in the zone, but he barreled it up nicely as Casey Fiend is now in the game. See his numbers last season between the Twins and the Dodgers. He's got a four-seam fastball around 93, 94 miles an hour. He does create a little bit of sink with the two-seamer. Has a curveball, but the go-to pitch for him is that cut fastball.
So he'll get the top of the order here with George Springer, Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve duo. This is the first of what will be 7 meetings between Seattle and Houston in the first 10 games. We're going to get a quick preview right out of the gates of 2 of the top teams in the AL West and what they're about.
I'll tell you what, if this game finishes the way it is right now, it is going to be a grind watching these guys go out there and battle.
Dean did allow some home runs last year, more than usual, 13 and 39 in the third innings. George Springer swings and misses, 0-1. The Rangers are currently playing at home tonight in Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. They had a 5-3 lead heading into the 7th against Cleveland. Chopper towards short. Segura comes in. Makes the play. Cleveland scored a run in the 7th to make it 5-4, a run in the 8th to make it 5-5, and a run in the 9th to make it 6-5. And here are the 3 teams we're talking about.
Well, I like how where your mind's at. You're talking about the Rangers because that's where the division goes through. The 2016 AL West, which is brought to you by Houston Methodist. These would be our league leaders. And the records, now look at the second line, the run differential. That run differential doesn't match up with how the division played out because a team that wins the division should not have a +8 in run differential. We talked about how the Rangers were able to go out there and win 1-run games as we look back at that stat. The projected record according to that run differential is 82-80. There's a lot of ways to go around and project what things are going to happen in baseball, but you can't predict luck, and that's what happened with the Rangers going out there and winning as many 1-run games as they did.
Bregman into center field. Martin makes the play for the second out. And you would think, and you know, no disrespect towards the Angels or the A's, but you would think those 3 are going to be right there again this year.
It's going to be the same way. They are going to pound on each other. But if you're sitting up there in Arlington, as was pointed out by Phil Boudreau, our stats guy up here, wins is wins. Go get them, boys. That's all. Hey, all that matters is who has the most wins at the end of the year. You can do all the math you want. As long as the math adds up to you having more wins than the other teams.
So Indians have come back and taken a lead against Texas on the road, 6-5 now in the 9th. That game was tied up in the 8th when Edwin Encarnacion hit a home run against Matt Bush to tie it at 5. Welcome to the Indians, Mr. Encarnacion.
Indians got extremely good over the offseason. Brantley, Edwin Encarnacion. The pitchers are healthy. Carrasco.
Doors a year older. Kluber got hit around today. Corey Kluber 6 innings, 5 runs, but then the bullpen has not allowed a run against the Rangers. See Carlos Correa, he's done some damage tonight with 2 of the 3 runs batted in for Houston. 0-2 the count on Altuve, who's 1 for 3 in his 2017 opening day. Altuve's had more of these consecutively than anybody else on the team. Springer had 3 coming in. Altuve up to 6. In the air, pretty well struck, but Martinez there drifts back and makes the play. So we head to the ninth. Astros holding a 3-0 lead.
Deep into center field, way back goes Matty Alou, and that ball is in Astro orbit. Oh, did he hit it? To straightaway center field, it is 457 feet, and Wynn hit it over that point in center field. A 3-run home run, his 25th of the year. And the little dynamo, the toy cannon, now has 76 runs batted into the year. What a shot.
What a great video. And you should have seen the smile on Todd as the call was going out there. Obviously, that is Todd's dad, Harry Callis, a legendary name in the business. And we finally get to say congratulations to you, Todd, joining our crew and becoming a part of what is now going to be an Astros tradition of having the Callises in the Astro booth.
Thanks, Blummer. It means a lot. And I've never seen that play. I've heard the call only through radio, and I've never seen the video attached to it. That was awesome.
That was incredible, all the way around.
Thank you very much. Yes, Dad started his big league career here in 1965, same year the Astros were born, after being the Colt 45s for 3 seasons. And then he moved on to Philadelphia and ended his Hall of Fame career there. But happy to be following in Dad's footsteps, moving from the Astrodome to Minute Maid Park and calling my first game here in 2017. I love on that video that at Forbes Field, they don't even anticipate that a home run's going there, so they keep the batting cage in play.
And you saw the outfielder, he had to stop because if he'd have gone further to trying to make an attempt on that ball, he would have ran right into that thing. Unbelievable.
Ken Giles on in the 9th inning, trying to preserve a 3-0 opening day lead for the Houston Astros, and there's a called strike on Cruz. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ken Giles' best pitch is that slider. He also has a fastball around 100 miles an hour. Averaged 97 on that fastball last year.
I've got to think for Ken Giles, after a struggle last April, his comfort zone in April of 2017 is at a whole different level.
Yeah, this is big for him.
Up high, it's 2-2.
He's got a lot to prove, and it's tough when you get traded over. You want to prove something to the organization, the fans, that you are worth that trade that brought him over here. As you look at his numbers last season, and a lot of those issues he had were in the beginning part of that season. The second half of the season, he did great. Found the command of the fastball and the put-away slider, but he's got something to prove to himself, too.
Swing and a miss. Giles gets Nelson Cruz to start the 9th.
That's a good start.
Coming up on our post-game show, take a look at George Springer, both at the plate and in the field. How about Dallas Keuchel's opening day start, his dazzling debut, and we'll also hear from the Astros clubhouse. So far, it has been as good as it gets tonight, with Carlos Correa and George Springer hitting home runs. Dallas Keuchel with his 3rd consecutive opening day start, going 7 shutout innings on 2 hits. Luke Gregerson gets through the 8th. Now Ken Giles on in the 9th. Misses to Seager. 1-0. Seager 0 for 2 was hit by a pitch. Seager's faced Giles 3 times, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Upstairs, 3-0.
Relax, take a deep breath, keep working downhill.
There's a strike, 3-1. Seager, number 5 hitter in that Seattle lineup. Mariners have 3 singles. Walked 3 times, and Seager was hit by a pitch. And there is ball 4, so Seager on for the 2nd time. 4th walk issued by Astros pitching. called strike to Danny Valencia, 0-1.
Early on, we're seeing better command of that slider for Ken Giles than the fastball. But as a hitter, you can't take a break because you still have to be prepared for 100 miles an hour in the zone.
Goes back to back with the slider and it had 0-2.
And that's what you see when you know a guy has 100 in the tank. Because you got to gear up for 100 miles an hour, and then he snaps the bad boy off on you, and you have a check swing. You can't hold up.
Valencia down to the count, 0-2. Astros fans looking for a strikeout, and there it is. 3 straight sliders as he gets Valencia swinging.
Tonight's player of the game is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And yes, it is the bearded wonder, Dallas Keuchel. Went out there in vintage style. Did a good job of locating the fastball, the slider/curve that he has, changing speeds on that. Keeping the ball down the zone with the changeup. Good depth at the bottom part of the zone. That is what you want to see from Dallas Keuchel. Strikeouts, ground balls. He even made some good plays on defense, but that is a great way for him to start the season.
Phenomenal plays on defense as Giles paints the outer half, 0-1. Leonis Martin, the hitter for Seattle. Astros won opening day 2013 against the Rangers. Opening day 2014 against the Yankees. 2015 against the Indians. And last year on the road against the Yankees again. 4 straight wins on opening day. Ken Giles trying to make it 5 in a row. Since the Astros have joined the American League, they are 4-0 on opening day. Ken Giles 1 pitch away with the sold-out crowd standing of making it a perfect 5 for 5. Stays alive with 2 strikes. Giles with 15 saves last year. One of them came against Seattle. Looking to save this game for Dallas Keuchel. A.J. Hinch telling Yuli Gurriel to play off the bag at first. Called 3rd strike. Astros win.
Beautiful day. Started with a straight fest and finished with an Astros win. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way these guys want to see it. And I just love the enthusiasm you're seeing from this ball club. These guys have got each other's backs. Dallas Keuchel needed to go out there and have a solid start. He gave them 7 strong. And then we saw the back end of this Astros bullpen step up. Oh, yeah, we also saw some big flies in this game, too.
It was a beautiful thing to watch. It was a combination of home runs, great defense, and very good pitching. George Springer got things rolling.
Yeah, not your standard leadoff man. When you can drive a ball out of the ballpark and put your team on top early, it is a beautiful thing. This middle part of the order, this is something you could get used to for a long time here in Houston. As that young man growing up with that star on his chest.
Dallas Keuchel with 7 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. He was outstanding, including his defense. Let's join Julia Morales with Carlos Correa.
Thanks a lot, Todd. Carlos driving in 2 of the 3 runs via the home run and the sac fly. And let's talk about that home run swing. That ball went a long way. What was the key there against Felix?
Well, I knew they were going to work in on me, so I was just trying to keep my hands close to my body and be able to ride the ball. I was able to do that, and obviously I hit that home run.
What did you think of Dallas Keuchel tonight?
Outstanding. I mean, besides his, his pitching, what impressed me the most was the plays he made of those bunts. I mean, those are plays I don't think there's another pitcher in the league that can make those plays, only him. That's why he's a 3-time Gold Glove, I think. So, that was very impressive for me.
Saying a lot coming from you. Lastly, you guys get this win. And how important is this, or what does this do for the club winning the first game of the year?
Oh, it's important. It gives us a lot of confidence going into the season. Obviously, we feel like we have a great team. We have a lot of confidence in the talent we have in our clubhouse, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Thanks a lot, Carlos. Carlos Correa driving in his first runs of the season and getting that first homer on the board. Astros win this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more.